I know what you're saying. VLOOKUPs are hard, and I want you to hear me from the bottom of my heart. They're not. I'm gonna make them easy for you. I think the way that they've been explained on the internet via text or via video, generally speaking, is not conducive for people to learn. So I'm gonna fix that problem. When you look at this, you see a bunch of different stuff. You see all the different spending. I'll be open about it. This is how much I've spent so far in the year. Not too bad, not gonna lie. I live at home, save a lot of money. But I wanted to make a budget for myself. I was like, how do I make a budget where I have the future coming in from a pivot table. It's a whole thing. So I basically export all my transactions into a finance tracking sheet, and then I need to VLOOKUP from a pivot table in order for all this stuff to populate how it does. So basically what happened was I had this pivot table coming in, and I wanted to extract this information onto this. So in order for this to be started from new, I'm going to just get rid of these. Let's get rid of this. And for me, something very easy for you to do in order to get for pivot tables to match is you need to have a column to look up. So for me, the column is I want to match the same month to the same month. So all I got to do here is basically match these. So I'm just going to equal these and drag them down. And then if you want to copy them all and paste them as values in order to make this work out, you're all good. So basically the question is, how do I get the housing number here to match this? Okay, so you're going to do equals and then VLOOKUP. So first of all, on the first end that you're going to look at your value that you want to match on the table that doesn't have information is this, to the value that you want to pull the information from is this. So the easiest way to do this is to just take, starting from the top of whatever table you want, including the columns, and you go all the way across, and you're going to want to pull this down all the way. And then you're going to figure out what column you want to bring in. So since this guy is the housing data I want to pull in, I need to figure out how many this is from the first column. So you need to count the first column that you're matching to. So that'd be this guy is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is the number of the housing column. So then I do 6, and then I do another comma, and you can either put false or true. Now what false does is make sure it's exact match, which means it needs to exactly say January 2022-January for it to match. Now, if you do true, then it will give you a sort of broad match where it's like, yeah, if it's close, it'll drop it in there. So I'm going to do a false so that it's exact match and then hit the parentheses. Now, what you want to do is you want to highlight this section here for this table and hold the function key and press F4 in order to make that table locked in for anywhere you drag this formula. Then you press enter, and as you can see here, it suggested autofill. So I can do that and I can drop this down and you'll see, okay, so it only brings in this guy, and let's double check that. June 22nd, 2022, June, 350 to 350. Now, in order to make this happen again, what you want to do is you just can copy this formula, paste this in here, and then I'm going to do a quick find and replace. So Control H to B, place with A, search within formulas. Okay, and then what you're going to want to do is go to the top one and figure out, okay, so what is the food column? So food would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'm going to change this number to 4. I'm going to drag this down. That would give me all of the food column. And then a nice way, actually, as an extra tip for this, so that you know how it works is, so you can see here, I have all of these coming in. So how do you do an if then that brings in a 0, right? So this is kind of a complex formula, but what we're going to do before this, so we're going to put if before the VLOOKUP, delete this last parentheses equals 0. Then what you're going to do is put a comma, because if this VLOOKUP equals 0, a comma means then. So then here would be you put a 0, okay? But if not, is what happens after you put another comma, is not, then you want to take the VLOOKUP value. So you're just going to copy this VLOOKUP and put it right at the end. Then if you press enter, you'll see that after this entire thing is put in there, it will respond with 0. If it comes back as blank or 0, since pivot tables don't pull in that, then drop it in here. Then all you'd have to do for all of these is go through this. Once again, do that thing where you change the first value because it's not looking up that anymore. Change this B to an A. If you search within formulas, change the column number both times to 1, 2, 3, 4, then 4 with 4. Bring this down, and you can keep doing that for the entire table, and you can pull anything you want to in here, just like that. Hopefully this helped you with VLOOKUPs and even a big issue that often happens when you're pulling from blank cells, or more specifically, cells that have 0. If you want to learn more Excel and Google Sheets tips and tricks, make sure to comment that down below, and make sure to check out this video on how to improve your productivity even more.